Hi everyone, this is the second part of the biographies, letter F which was interrupted, so letter F and G we will cover right now. Fontenay was interested in the art of enameling. A collaboration with Eugene Richard, a painter and miniaturist, he created a series of jewels mounted with opaque enamel plaques reminiscent of Pompeian fresco decorated with figures taken from Greek mythology. Among his most successful jewels are those with amphora-shaped pendants, first created in 1865, and with pendants in the shape of oat or wheat grains, first presented in 1867. The technical perfection and the beauty of the archaeological jewels he exhibited at the Exposition Universelle in Paris in 1867 won him a medal. Their success confirmed the popularity of his style. Between 1860 and 1867, Fontenay frequently worked for the East and Far East, producing jewels for the King of Siam, the Shah of Persia, an Indian market, and the Viceroy of Egypt. As the consequence of the French expedition in China and the conquest of Peking and in summer Palace in 1860, a large number of imperial jade came to Paris, and Fontenay, fascinated by the Orient and by the beauty of the material, mounted them successfully in archaeologically inspired jewels. After a very distinguished career, he retired from business in 1882 to write a book, Le Budget Ancien and Moderns, which was published in 1887. Froment Maurice Desari, a Parisian goldsmith and jeweler who took over the family business started by his father, François Froment, in 1792, and added to his surname that of Pierre Maurice, another goldsmith whom his mother remarried. Well trained in goldsmith techniques and in the arts, he was very interested in sculpture and close to the artistic circles of his time. He became famous in the 1830s and 1840s for his romantically inspired jewels in Gothic revival and Renaissance style, which combined backgrounds of Gothic architecture with three-dimensional figures of knights, angels, and saints in the round and decorated with polychrome enamels. Maurice triumphed in London at the Universal Exhibition of 1851 with his production in neo-Gothic and neo-Renaissance taste. His business was inherited by his son Emile. Gerard M. The firm M. Gerard was founded in Paris in 1968 by Louis Gerard, formerly of Van Cleef & Arpels. The new shop was opened in Avenue Montaigne and soon became renowned for jewels set with very high-quality diamonds, mostly specimen stones. Business rapidly flourished, with outlets in Geneva, Lausanne, Gstaad, London, Monte Carlo, Cannes, New York. And by 1975, M. Gerard was announced to be the largest exporter of fine jewelry from France, a remarkable achievement against the well-established French jewelers from across the Champs-Élysées. In 1985, a group of American investors bought the firm. Louis Gerard retired, and a few years later the firm closed its door. At the end of 1987, it was reopened by the original owner at the 16th Avenue Montaigne and under the name Louis Gerard. Besides the exceptional quality of the diamonds and colored stone, Gerard jewels are always characterized by great suppleness and flexibility. The latter is a shaped but technically very advanced mounts in which the weight of the metal is kept to a minimum and the number of soldiers and claws reduced. The resultant jewels are very supple and follow the contour of a female body which they adorn. M. Gerard jewels are mainly signed M. Gerard, or more recently Louis Gerard. Giuliano, a family of Neapolitan origin who became famous in London for their jewelry in Gothic and Renaissance style. The business was started by Giuliano, who was trained in Rome, possibly in the workshop of the Castellanis, where he produced jewels of archaeological style. In about 1860, he moved to London and opened a workshop in Soho, in Free Street, where he worked for famous jewelers of the time such as Hunt and Roscoe, C.F. Hancock, and Robert Phillips. His jewels proved to be a success, and in 1874 he opened his own shop at 115 Piccadilly. Particularly attracted by Renaissance, Giuliano studied the art of the Cinquecento and produced attractive jewels in neo-Renaissance style. He soon became famous for his pierced jewels, delicately enameled and set with pearls and precious or semi-precious gemstones. He limited color almost completely from his composition, covering the surface of the jewel with white and blue or black piqué enamel. Piqué enamel consisted of decorating the enameled surface with minute dots of enamel of contrasting color. To the bright sparkle of faceted stones, he always preferred the most discreet effect of cabochon gemstones. As the fashion for jewels in Renaissance style diminished, he relied less on that period as a source of inspiration, but his jewels never lost a certain Renaissance feel. When he died, the Piccadilly shop passed to his two sons, Carlo Joseph and Arthur, who traded there until they moved to Kingsbridge in 1912. The Kingsbridge shop closed at the outbreak of the First World War. Carlo Joseph and Arthur Giuliano worked very much in the style of their father, possibly with a new interest in more delicate pastel color and flowery forms in line with the general trend of fashion. The Giulianos always marked their pieces. The earliest pieces of Carlo Giuliano in archaeological revival style were often marked with the monogram CG, very similar to the enameled CC of Castellani. From 1863, Giuliano jewels were almost always signed with the monogram CG in the oval motif. After death of their father in 1896, Carlo Joseph and Arthur Giuliano entered a new mark consisting of the monogram C and AG in the oval motif. Graf Lawrence. Lawrence Graff has established the reputation of being one of the world's foremost producers of jewels set with rare and exceptional gems. His first outstanding sign of success came in 1973, when he became the first jeweler to be presented with the Queen Award Industry, an award which was repeated for further achievements in 1977. His shop at 55 Brompton Road, Kingsbridge, London, is a place of pilgrimage for the elite clientele in search for unique and magnificent gems. Graff is especially known for his diamonds and lately for colored stones, a category which covers the entire spectrum from yellows, oranges, greens, blues, light to intense violet to deep pink and red, recently mined in Western Australia. Graff designs are essentially and his setting never overshadow the inherent beauty of the gem. Lawrence Graff has set a nearly unsurpassable standard of excellence in his quest for perfect gemstones, and it has been said the more important gem quality diamonds have passed through his hands than through those of any other living dealer. The firm's jewels are usually signed Graf Grima Andrew. Andrew Grima was born in Rome in 1921. He was educated in London and studied mechanical engineering in Nottingham University. In 1939, his studies were interrupted by the war, and he served as in the engineering army, mainly in India and Burma, for 5 years. Undoubtedly, he would have continued his career had he not married in 1946 the daughter of a Vietnamese dealer who ran the firm of H.J. Co. Ltd. in London, Hatton Garden. In 1947, he left the army in engineering and joined his father-in-law firm. In 1951, on the death of his father-in-law, he became chairman and managing director of H.J. Co. In the following years, business began to thrive again after the bleak post-war period. By 1956, he was successfully designing and selling modern jewels. The breakthrough came in 1961, when his company won more prizes than any other in the De Beers Diamond International Awards. In 1966, he won the Duke of Edinburgh Prize for Elegant Design, then the Queen's Award to Industry and Royal Warrant. In 1970, he was commissioned by Omega to design a prestige watch collection about time, which was exhibited throughout the world. And that's all we wanted to discuss today. Stay tuned for future podcasts. Goodbye.